SpaceX is looking to expand its business with high opportunities by collaborating with other big companies. It has been a very exciting company in the aerospace industry, especially with its plans to put humans on the red planet. Apart from this, SpaceX is also completely focused on building reusable rockets, and this has made rocket launching more affordable than ever before. Elon Musk's next project might include revolutionizing space manufacturing. With this big news, SpaceX found a new beneficiary, Varda, to send its facility into space. This is getting more exciting, right? In this video, we will talk about the collaboration of SpaceX with Varda, a new $3.2 billion space factory. Space is getting fancy. Varda is a space manufacturing startup that focuses on creating products in space for terrestrial applications. The In-Space Manufacturing Company has announced its new launch services agreement with SpaceX. In signing the agreement, SpaceX will help Varda to launch its initial space factory aboard a SpaceX rideshare mission, deploying to low Earth orbit in Q1 of 2023. They aim to manufacture things in space that benefit from low gravity. The company intends to create an infrastructure that harvests source materials for new products in space via asteroid mining. The company was founded in 2020 by Delian Asparohov and Trey Stevens. From a young age, Will Brewy, the co-founder and chief executive of Varda Space Industries, was fascinated with space and running his own business. So when the former SpaceX engineer was tapped by Delian Asparohov and Trey Stevens of Founders Fund to work on Varda, he didn't think twice. In 2023, Varda Space Industries will send its first spacecraft into orbit aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Rocket Lab, SpaceX's rival launch company, will make the spacecraft that will take the startups to orbit. Rocket Lab will also produce 2 more space vehicles for Varda. 2 modules made by Varda will be fitted to 3 vehicles, a microgravity module and a capsule for re-entry. The company will mount the first space factory on multiple Photon spacecraft provided by Rocket Lab. Varda Space added that it's not just an orbiting lab, but that they are building the first commercial zero-gravity industrial park at scale. Varda Space will initially connect at least 3 Photon spacecraft. The spacecraft can be configured for different purposes. Unlike the ISS, Varda will adapt them for autonomous manufacturing in space, requiring no human presence. The craft will be fitted with re-entry capsules that will return the manufacturing products to Earth once production is completed. The first factory will only be able to produce a couple hundred kilos of material, leaving many questioning what type of products will Varda produce to stay profitable. The company explained that they will be focusing on high-value products that sell for high prices despite their low mass. Chemical purity elements, perfect crystalline structures, semiconductors, fiber optic cables, and pharmaceutical ingredients are some of the products that can be more efficiently manufactured in space, whose levels of purity increase dramatically in microgravity manufacturing. SpaceX has announced it's partnering with Varda Space to launch the first space factory. CEOs of space companies like Elon Musk have visionary ideas for the future that include the industrialization of space. Those in favor argue that industries moved into space would end pollution on Earth, and the benefits that manufacturing has in a microgravity environment should be reaped. Upon completion of Varda's in-orbit production run, the space factory will execute a de-orbit maneuver to re-enter the atmosphere and return finished products to customers on Earth. Each spacecraft should spend around 3 months in orbit. The re-entry module will bring back approximately 400 to 60 kilograms worth of manufactured material. Varda's goal is to unlock microgravity's benefits, which can only be found in space for the manufacturing of novel materials like bioprinted organs and specialized semiconductors. Startups believe that there is a large market for these materials. Varda announced a $42 million Series A in July and plans to follow an aggressive launch schedule with 2 launches in 2023 and 1 in 2024. Varda raised $42 million in a round led by Khosla Ventures and Caffeinated Capital, and joined by investors including Lux Capital, General Catalyst, and Founders Fund. With $11 million raised in a prior seed round, the company has brought in $53 million since its founding 8 months ago. Varda Space informed the public last October 11th that they will make their first space exhibition at the beginning of 2023. The confirmation was due to the conducted signing agreement between the startup space agency and SpaceX. The plan for the future mission will be aboard the Falcon 9 under its rideshare mission that will be held sometime after 2 years from now. The new contract between Varda Space and SpaceX has not been publicized, and the details have remained private between the space contractors. Spacecraft will be one among many of the Falcon 9 rideshare missions. This new program, which allows customers to carpool to orbit, spreads the cost to go to space. Varda Space's space vessel will be hovering over the vast cosmic void in 3 months. The main goal of the space venture is to test the technology for space manufacturing and produce materials in a microgravity-induced environment. In space, microgravity lets materials grow without encountering walls, and it allows them to mix evenly and hold together without traditional supports. And a nearby ultra-high vacuum helps things form without impurities. Once the mission concludes, the space equipment produced in orbit will be returned to the planet through a re-entry capsule. The experts of Varda Space have pushed the collaboration with SpaceX to materialize the mission due to the company's experience and quality in terms of space ventures. In addition, SpaceX is the best choice for a startup company like Varda Space to meet their preferred efficiency and budgeting plans. Varda Space president and co-founder Delian Asparahov said in a Space News report that among the factors that drive the economics is launch cost. And with that said, the company chose the best option that comes at the lowest cost available. SpaceX claims to reduce launch costs to as low as $1 million per customer who wants to send 200 grams of payloads to sun-synchronous orbit. Varda Space Industries, a startup founded less than a year ago by a pair with experience at Elon Musk's SpaceX and Peter Thiel's founder fund, has now raised more than $50 million as it works toward its first mission in the first quarter of 2023. CEO Will Brewy, who spent much of the past decade working on SpaceX's Cargo Dragon spacecraft, told CNBC that Varda's mission is to build the first space factory, essentially the first industrial park in orbit. Early days for in-space manufacturing. Until now, almost all in-space manufacturing research has been conducted on the International Space Station, ISS. While research from the ISS has demonstrated that it is possible to manufacture in-space innovative materials and products that can help to revolutionize industries back on Earth, there is currently no pathway to commercialization. Varda highlights that before recently, manufacturing in orbit was impossible to scale due to the cost, complexities, and regulatory hurdles. However, the combination of SpaceX's new competitively priced rideshare program, the FAA's new streamlined regulatory framework, and the Biden administration's executive order on the industrialization of space has enabled cost-effective access to orbit. 5 years ago, a company like Varda would not have been possible, but today it is possible to economically deliver unique products that can only be manufactured in space because launches are cheaper, space hardware solutions are commoditizing, and smart regulatory progress has been made. Will Brewy, founder and chief executive officer of Varda Space Industries, says that he is excited to use SpaceX as a launch provider because their reusable launch vehicles have proven to be highly reliable and cost-efficient, providing the certainty and unit economics that we rely on to deliver unprecedented access and value to all kinds of new products that can only be manufactured in space. He also added that since prolonged exposure to zero gravity is not possible on the planet, it's exciting to use our expertise in spacecraft to bring that new capability to industries serving large markets on Earth. 3D printing in zero-G technology demonstration. The 3D printing in zero-G ISS technology demonstration was the first time that additive manufacturing 3D printing was performed in space and was performed under a Small Business Innovative Research (SBIR) with Made in Space Inc. (MIS). The first set of samples was fabricated using fused deposition modeling (FDM) of polymers and returned to NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center (MSFC), where they underwent extensive testing along with the ground-printed controls to assess if there were any differences in the parts produced in microgravity from those manufactured on Earth. The Phase 1 results published on the NASA Technical Reports Server, NTRS, indicate that there is no significant impact of microgravity on the fused deposition modeling process. The second set of parts was successfully fabricated on ISS in July 2016 and returned to MSFC in September, where they underwent testing and analysis. The Phase 2 results, also published on NTRS, further validate these findings. NASA is dipping its ties into this very attractive pond by attempting to demonstrate 3D printing technology in space using simulated lunar soil. In the future, this can allow colonies on the Moon and Mars to produce some of their habitats and seduce the need to take large construction materials from Earth to space. When do you think in-space manufacturing would become a space industry standard? Would Varda Space dominate the space manufacturing industries? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment in the comment section below.